Hey guys, today I'm going to share with you how is it like for a seller to be selling his property, how the timeline looks like. So in my previous few videos, I've shared for HDB timelines for sellers. This time round is going to be for private property owners. For private properties, right, it's going to be much more flexible. So for HDBs, right, to share with you context, obviously you got to go through with certain limitation. Like you can only ask from your buyer 3 months extension. Obviously, there's submission period that you gotta go through, work with HDB officers, processing speed, coordinating that. So for private property, it's a little bit more easy. Also similar to HDB, there will be the option date, there will be the exercise date. So let's just say if you were to sell your property today, congratulations, it's 6 Jan today. So instead of 21 days of option period, the market standard is 14 days. That will be 20th Jan. The question here is that, do you have an existing loan as a seller? If let's say you say that, oh, I already fully paid my home, I don't have. So you can actually shorten the completion date to 8 weeks instead of minimum period of 10 weeks. If let's say you have existing loan in your current property, when you sell, right, you need to give the banks and the law firm time to process it. If not, you have some penalty towards it. But typically, it will be 10 weeks as a minimum. You got no loan, you can go as short as 8 weeks. Let's just say you did the transaction in 10 weeks, right? So that will land you on 31st March. So 31st March, you'll be homeless. So if let's say for you seller is that, oh, I'm purely selling, this is just one of my properties, I don't care, then you have actually a very straightforward timeline. But however, a lot of sellers is actually their own home and they're transiting to the next home, which is the more complicated stuff, right? So likewise, if let's say this is your sale property timeline, then your purchase property, you can obviously use like bridging loan. We can talk about it in another video. But in today's context is that on 31st March, they get their sales proceed and then they want to transfer it to your purchase unit, right? So which is why your completion date will be 3 weeks from 31st March, which is 21st April. That will be your completion date. Here, I will put completion date as well. So which means to say 3 weeks apart so that your funds can transfer over. But don't forget, you're homeless on 31st March, right? So how can you actually hand the key on 31st March and only collect your new home key on 21st April? To make that difference, right, that is why we ask for the extension period, right? So the extension period can be to make up for the renovation period. So let's just say if you're moving to a place that requires extensive renovation and your ID says that it takes 3 months, right? It means you need approximately 4 months of extension. You can do it as a private property owner. You have 4 months to have 3 months of renovation period. Some of the sellers, they are thinking that if I sell my property, maybe I want to wait it out for the 15 months. Because you're under 55 years old, you want to wait for 15 months, means you want to rent back from the buyer who bought from you a total of 18 months, right? It means you lock in that tenancy agreement, you stay in your current home. After 18 months, you can shift to a HDB. You can also do so. That's on theory, right? So obviously, you got to strike a deal with your buyer. It's going to be a niche crowd. They're buying for investment. They don't mind the rental yield. But I find that it's a little bit tricky because the buyers will be on one hand trying to buy as low as possible. And then you are trying to get a lower rental and sell as high as possible. In the buyer's point of view, it's like,
wow, then like that, the seller win all the way, right?
In negotiation, it's all about a two-way party that can benefit, a win-win situation. Certain properties, I think you're able to do it. That's where we come in. We can share with you, some of the different methods you can do to actually have the best transition and also cash out at the highest amount of profits. Where we are coming from is that the timeline for selling a condo, it's very, very flexible. You can work around this, but the essential that comes into play, it's like this on the natural. So feel free to reach out to us and let us know if you have a unique situation that you're trying to sell and plan for your next housing option, or you just want to sell and then maybe your buyer haven't sold their place. How can you structure your timeline as a seller, right, to entice this buyer to give the highest price possible, and so on and so forth. So once again, my name is Aaron and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I look forward to see you on the next one.